South America.
South America Table of Contents.
All about South America, with visiting and touring information, geography, history, attractions, and author points of interest.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. Dr. Sydney22@gmail.com. 2023. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof.
Zoe Phonemes.
And Nathan Koltove. For a complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to tiny.1/ytnavigator. South America. South America is a part of the American continent traversed by the equator, with most of its area in the southern hemisphere. South America is situated between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean.
Regions in South America include the Andean countries, the Guianas, and the Southern Cone. Both Argentina and Chile are in the southern half of the South American continent, well below the equator, so they are also in the southern hemisphere. In fact, the northernmost tip of Argentina is some 1,000 miles or 1,500 kilometers below the equator. The northern tip of Peru touches the equator. Since virtually all of Argentina and most of Chile are beyond or south of the Tropic of Capricorn, they are outside of the tropics. As a result, most of these two countries have a temperate climate, except for the regions in the far south.
Brazil is crossed by both the Equator and Tropic of Capricorn, and as such is home to a vast array of fauna and flora, natural environments, as well as extensive natural resources. Most of Brazil is in the tropics, but the extreme southern part has a subtropical climate.
Both São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro are very close to the Tropic of Capricorn.
Buenos Aires is at a latitude of 34.6 degrees south and has a temperate climate.
That is about the same distance south of the equator as Los Angeles, California is north, at 34.1 degrees north, and Savannah, Georgia at 32.1 degrees north. As a result, Buenos Aires has warm to somewhat hot summers and mild winters. It is quite humid in Argentina, somewhat like the Gulf Coast cities of the U.S., like Houston or New Orleans.
The southernmost town in Argentina is Ushuaia, which claims to be the southernmost city in the world. It is located at 54.8 degrees south.
This can be compared to Juneau, Alaska at 58.3 degrees north, or Edinburgh, Scotland at 55.9 degrees north. Argentina is bounded on the north by Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. Argentina is bounded on the east by Brazil, Uruguay, and the Atlantic Ocean. Argentina is bounded on the west by an exceptionally long border with Chile.
To the south of Argentina and Chile, where the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans join together, is the Great Southern Ocean. And beyond that is Antarctica.
Like North America, South America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, who was the first European to suggest that the Americas were not the East Indies, but a previously undiscovered by Europeans New World.
South America ranks 5th in population, after Asia, Europe, Africa, and North America.
South America has become attached to North America only recently, geologically speaking, with the formation of the Isthmus of Panama some 3 million years ago. Much of the land to the east of the Andes in Brazil is largely a tropical rainforest. The vast Amazon River basin. The Amazon River flows into the South Atlantic Ocean. It is by far the largest river in South America and the world's second longest river at 4,000 miles.
The continent also contains dry regions such as Patagonia of Argentina and the extremely dry Atacama Desert of Chile.
In the north, the South American nations that border the Caribbean Sea, including Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, are known as the Caribbean South America. South America is home to many interesting species of animals including parrots, tarantulas, snakes, and mammals. Here are the 8 largest countries in the world. Brazil is in 5th place after China, and Argentina is in 8th place after India and Australia.
Here is the area of the largest countries in South America in millions of square kilometers. The largest country in South America by far, in both area and population, is Brazil. Second and third are Argentina and Peru. We see that Argentina is a little less than 1/3 the size of Brazil.
In comparison, the United States of America has a total area of 9.16 million square kilometers, and so it is a little larger than Brazil, and over 3 times the size of Argentina.
Hail the areas of the various South American countries.
The countries of South America. In 1510, the Spaniards founded Darien, the first permanent European settlement on the mainland of the Americas.
In 1538, the Spaniards established a colony of New Granada.
The capital of Colombia is Bogota. The Famajo city saw the port of Cartagena and the city of Cali.
Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, was founded in 1567. Venezuela became independent of Spain in 1811.
Guyana means land of many waters in the local Amerindian language.
Guyana was formerly British Guyana and gained independence in 1966. The capital of Guyana is Georgetown.
Suriname was formerly Dutch Guyana and gained independence in 1975. The capital of Suriname is Paramaribo.
French Guiana is an overseas department of France. The capital of French Guiana is Cayenne.
French Guiana is the oldest of the overseas possessions of France, and the only French territory on the American mainland.
Devil's Island.
Devil's Island, in French, Île du Diable, is the smallest and northernmost island of the 3 îles du Salent located off the coast of French Guiana. Here is Devil's Island off the coast of French Guiana.
These are the Îles du Salent. In 1965, the French government transferred the responsibility of most of the islands to the newly founded Guiana Space Center.
The islands are under the trajectory of the space rockets launched eastwards, seawards from the center, to geostationary orbit, and they must be evacuated during each launch.
The CNES Space Agency, in association with other agencies, has since had the historical monuments restored, travel facilities added, and the islands now welcome more than 50,000 tourists each year.
Bolivia became independent of Spain in 1825. The capital is La Paz. Founded in 1548. Conquistador Francisco Pizarro conquered the land of Ecuador in 1532. The region became independent of Spain in 1809 to form Greater Colombia. The capital of Ecuador is Quito.
Paraguay became independent of Spain in 1811. The capital of Paraguay is Asunción. Founded in 1537. Although Paraguay is a landlocked country, it has access from the capital city Asunción to the Atlantic Ocean via the Paraguay and Parana rivers.
Peru was conquered from the Incas in 1531 by Francisco Pizarro. It won its independence from Spain in 1821.
The capital of Peru is Lima.
The capital of Brazil is Brasilia.
Uruguay was taken by Spain from Portugal in 1778. It then was part of Brazil from 1821 to 1828.
Uruguay won its independence from Spain in 1828. The capital and largest city is Montevideo.
The independence of Argentina from Spain was formally declared in 1816. The capital is Buenos Aires. Founded in 1536, Buenos Aires was forcefully abandoned in 1539, and then was re-established in 1580.
In 1541, the Spanish conquered the Incas. The independence of Chile from Spain was established in 1810. The capital of Chile is Santiago. The population of South America.
The most populous country in South America is Brazil with 176 million. Colombia is in second place with 41 million. And Argentina with 40 million is a very close third. Peru is in fourth place with 28 million.
This is the population of South American countries in millions.
We see that the highest concentration of population in South America is in the coastal regions.
Major regions of population concentration are in the Caracas region of Venezuela, Recife on the easternmost point of Brazil, and the Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo area of Brazil. The Rio de la Plata region of Argentina and Uruguay with Buenos Aires and Montevideo. The Santiago and Valparaiso region of central Chile. The Lima region of Peru. Quito on the coast of Ecuador. And the Bogota region of Colombia. This map shows where the population is concentrated in South America. The interior is sparsely populated, while the coasts are home to a dozen cities with more than 1 million people. São Paulo is by far the largest city. Lima is the only city in Peru with more than 1 million people. There are no major cities in Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana, the cities of South America.
Here are the principal agglomerations of the world. We see that the only South American country in the top 14 is São Paulo in 5th place with 20 million.
Buenos Aires is in 17th place with 13 million. And Rio de Janeiro is in 19th place with 12 million.
Lima, Peru and Bogota, Colombia, both with over 8 million, are also very large cities, in 27th and 28th place, respectively.
Looking at all of Latin America, the Mexico City metropolitan area with a population of 22 million ranks third in population when compared to other metropolitan areas.
The climate of South America. This shows the annual rainfall in South America. Note the high rainfall along the western coast of southern Chile.
The reason for this is the prevailing winds. At the latitude of Puerto Montt, the winds are from the west and carry moisture from the Pacific Ocean. Further north and further south the winds are from the east. But the moisture coming in from the Atlantic Ocean is now blocked by the high Andes Mountains. Here is a rainfall map of Chile and Argentina. We note the much higher rainfall in the region of Puerto Montt compared to places further north and south. Indeed, in the extreme north of Chile in the Atacama Desert, there is no rainfall at all. Let us examine the effects of the Andes Mountains on the amount of rainfall. Here the ocean waters are warmed by the sun.
Water evaporates from the ocean. As the water vapor rises in the atmosphere, it cools and condenses into tiny water droplets, which form clouds.
Under the influence of onshore winds, The clouds southwest heave up the slopes of the coastal mountain ranges.
The water droplets in the clouds condense and fall as rain, and at higher elevations as snow. Thus, there is condensation and lots of rain on the western slopes.
On the eastern inland side of the mountains there is a rain shadow, and the precipitation is much less.
On the eastern side of the Andes is Argentina, and the rain shadow is in the region of Patagonia.
Thus, on the western side of the Andes, there is lots of rain in the midsection of Chile around Puerto Montt. But on the eastern slope of the Andes on the Argentinian side, there is the rain shadow, and that region is Patagonia, with less than 8 inches per year.
For the south, the wind direction changes to the easterlies, and this region is now in the rain shadow of the winds coming off of the Atlantic Ocean.
The easterly trade winds drop most of the moisture east of the Andes. So by the time they reach the western side in the far northern part of Chile, the rain shadow effect results in virtually no rainfall. In fact, the Atacama Desert is considered to be the driest area on Earth, with no recorded rainfall ever.
This is the temperature map of the oceans surrounding South America. Earthquakes in South America.
The Earth has a molten core with a solid crust, made up of individual plates that float on the molten core.
Much of the Pacific Ocean rides on a section of the Earth's crust that floats on the molten core of the Earth. Where these tectonic plates intersect, adjoining plates fill cracks and weak spots that are the focus of earthquake and volcanic activity. This is evidenced by earthquakes in Japan, California, and Alaska.
The region where the Nazca Plate and Antarctic Plate meet the South American Plate is an area of intense volcanic and earthquake activity, especially along the coast of Chile.
This arc around the Pacific Rim is called the Ring of Fire, because of the concentration of volcanic and seismic activity. The major trenches on the map are located where tectonic plates meet, with one being driven under another. Note the Peru-Chile Trench off the coast of South America.
This process of mountain building can be the result of one plate sliding underneath another plate. This is called subduction. The resulting heat and pressure cause molten magma to percolate upward through cracks and form volcanoes.
Nevado Ojos de Salado is the world's highest active volcano. Its peak is at 22,600 feet or 6,885 meters. We see that the volcanic activity in South America is concentrated near the boundary of the South American Plate, with the Nazca and Antarctica plates. Much of this activity is in the southern two-thirds of Chile. This shows the earthquake activity in South America. Note the high activity in the region of the Andes. This shows the tectonic plates around South America.
This shows the tectonic plates around South America.
This is the southern cone of South America. The Atacama Desert is sparsely populated and is high in the Andes of Chile. This somewhat small desert, or plateau, is a cold place, and rainfall is very rare. The Atacama Desert is approximately 100 miles wide and 625 miles long. The landscape is totally barren and covered with small borax lakes, lava flow remnants, and saline deposits. The Brazilian Highlands region is about 800 miles in length and runs through the Brazilian states of Minas Gerais, Goiás, Bahia and São Paulo in southeastern Brazil. The magnificent landscape includes varied mountain ranges, namely the Serra de Mantiqueira, Serra do Paranapiacaba, Serra Geral, and Serra do Mar. The estimated highest point is 7,368 feet, 2,245 meters. The Guiana Highlands are geographically stunning. Over 1,000 miles in length. The highlands stretch from southern Venezuela across the northern edge of South America to the tip of Brazil.
The Guiana Highlands consists of a vast plateau, one marked by deep gorges, tropical rainforests, numerous rivers and waterfalls. It is famed for the highest waterfall in the world, Angel Falls, 3,212 feet, 979 meters, high. The highest point is Mount Roraima on the borders of Brazil, Guyana and Venezuela at 9,219 feet, 2,810 m. The Llanos is a large and very fertile plain, located in eastern and central Colombia, and central and southern Venezuela. The Llanos is drained by the Orinoco River and its many tributaries, and approximately 225,000 square miles, 582,000 square kilometers, in size.
The economy of South America. As of 2002, South America's gross domestic product declined by 0.3%, and its unemployment rate was 10.8%.
Brazil leads South America in GDP, primarily because of its very large population. This is the gross domestic product, GDP, of South American countries per capita in 2008.
This is a list of South American nations by GDP per capita. All figures are according to the 2008 CIA Factbook.
The South American Community of Nations is a planned continent-wide free trade zone to unite two existing free trade organizations, the Mercosur and the Andean Community.
Mercosur or Mercosur is an economic and political agreement among Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay. Mercosur was founded in 1991 to promote free trade and the fluid movement of goods, people, and currency, and is now a full customs union. Mercosur and the Andean Community of Nations are customs unions that are components of a continuing process of South American integration, connected to the Union of South American Nations.
The Andean Community, in Spanish, Comunidad Andina, CAN, is a customs union comprising the South American countries of Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru.
The Andean community has 98 million inhabitants.
In South America, the gap between the rich and the poor is tremendous.
In Venezuela, Paraguay, Brazil, and many other South American countries, the wealthiest 20% may own over 60% of the nation's wealth, while the poorest 20% may own less than 5%.
This wide gap can be seen in many large South American cities, where makeshift shacks and slums lie next to skyscrapers and upper-class luxury apartments, as seen here in Rio de Janeiro.
The Andes. The Andes is a toothy-edged, massive mountain system extending from the tip of South America all the way to Panama. The Andes is the source of most major rivers on the continent and is 4,500 miles, 7,240 kilometers, in length. The Andes is home to some of the planet's largest volcanoes, and large ice sheets are commonplace in the far south along the coast of Chile.
The Andes and its many ranges include dozens of peaks that reach over 20,000 feet.
With the highest point being Aconcagua in Argentina, at 22,384 feet, 6,960 meters. The Andes are a comparatively young and seismically active mountain range that runs down the western edge of South America.
The Andes are part of the Great Oak chain of mountains that run through the entire length of North and South America.
This cordillera runs from the Brooks Range above the Arctic Circle in northern Alaska, through the Canadian and American Rockies, and then through Mexico and Central America, and finally through the Andes of South America to Tierra del Fuego, at the very southern tip of the continent.
The elevations in the Andes vary from 16,000 to 22,000 feet, 4,900 to 6,700 meters. South America's highest mountain is Aconcagua at 22,831 feet or 6,959 meters. There are several other peaks that reach over 21,000 feet or 6,400 meters. Some of these mountains are volcanic in origin. The Andes gradually decrease in altitude, further south toward the southern tip of South America, at Tierra del Fuego.
The Amazon Basin, or Amazonia, is covered by the largest tropical rainforest in the world.
Running through its heart is the Amazon River, and its more than 1,000 tributaries. 7 of them more than 1,000 miles in length. Measurable rain falls on an average of 200 days a year. And total rainfall often approaches 100 inches per year. The overall basin drains over 2,700,000 square miles and covers about 1/3 of the South American landmass. Rising high in the Andes, the river's network drains almost half of the continent. The Amazon is the largest in the world in the volume of water discharged into the ocean.
In Portuguese and Spanish, the river is called Amazonas.
The Amazon forest is one of the world's largest remaining continuous tracts of nature. The biodiversity of the forest is one of the richest on Earth. Measured by length, the Amazon River is the second in the world, after the Nile, in Egypt.
We see that the Amazon at 4,000 miles is just a small amount shorter than the Nile.
Indeed, by some measurements of river length, there are claims that the Amazon is longer than the Nile.
This is a continuation of the list of the world's longest rivers.
Brazil has the world's largest forest, the Amazon rainforest. It occupies 40% of the total area of Brazil.
The Amazon rainforest extends over an area that is 10 times the size of France.
The Amazon rainforest has 1/10 of the world's 10 million living species.
The biodiversity within the rainforest is extraordinary. The region is home to at least 2.5 million insect species, tens of thousands of plants, and some 2,000 birds and mammals. 1/5 of all the world's species of birds can be found in the Amazon rainforest. The diversity of plant species in the Amazon basin is the highest on Earth.
The Amazon rainforest begins from the eastern edge of the Andes. It is the largest rainforest in the world.
It is of great ecological significance, as its biomass is capable of absorbing enormous amounts of carbon dioxide. Conservation of the Amazon rainforest has been a major issue in recent years. The Amazon is Rio Amazonas in Portuguese. It flows eastward through South America, from the confluence of its Andean headstreams near Iquitos, Peru, to its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean north of Maranhão Island in Brazil.
The Amazon begins high in the Peruvian Andes as a thin sheet of crystal water flowing down the side of a rock wall.
By the time its journey ends in the Atlantic Ocean, the Amazon has become the world's largest river by volume, and possibly the longest.
The total length of the river from Iquitos, Peru to its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean is 4,080 miles or 6,570 kilometers.
The Amazon carries a greater volume of water than any other river in the world. By volume of water, nothing comes close to the Amazon.
The average flow of London's River Thames during 1 year is equivalent to the Amazon flow in just 1 day.
Although the Nile is slightly longer than the Amazon, we see that the flow of water from the Amazon is about 43 times longer than that of the Nile.
The flow of water from the Amazon is about 13 times larger than that of the Mississippi and Missouri River system that drains about 1/3 of the U.S.
The flow of water from the Amazon is about 22 times larger than the flow out from the 5 Great Lakes of the U.S. Finally, the flow of water from the Amazon is a whopping 94 times larger than that of the Rhine.
It is estimated that the Amazon alone pours 1/4 of all the fresh water into the oceans of the world.
The flow of the Amazon is 12 times that of the Mississippi River. The Amazon River extends over 9 South American countries: Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, French Guiana and Suriname.
The Amazon has over 1,000 tributaries in total, 17 of which are over 1,000 miles.
The Amazon drains 40% of South America, gathering its waters from 5 degrees north latitude to 20 degrees south latitude. Its most remote sources are found on the Inter-Andean Plateau, just a short distance from the Pacific Ocean. The Amazon River has the biggest drainage basin in the world. 60% of the total Amazon River is in Brazil.
The rainforest is supported by the extremely wet climate of the Amazon Basin. The Amazon and its hundreds of tributaries flow slowly across the landscape, with an extremely shallow gradient sending them toward the sea.
Manaus is 1,000 miles, or 1,600 kilometers from the Atlantic, but it is only 144 feet, or 44 meters above sea level. The Amazon is navigable for almost its entire length and provides an important commercial route through the continent.
The main river, which is approximately between 1 and 6 miles wide, is navigable for large ocean-going ships to Manaus. 930 miles, 1,500 kilometers, upriver from its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean. Smaller ocean vessels of less than 3,000 tons and 18 feet, 5.5 meters, draft can reach as far as Iquitos, Peru. 2,240 miles or 3,600 kilometers from the sea. That's the farthest point from sea of any port serving ocean traffic.
Smaller river boats can reach 485 miles, 780 kilometers, higher as far as the Pongo de Mansurish Gorge in northwest Peru. That is less than 200 miles from the Pacific Ocean. Small river steamers can navigate on more than 100 of the larger tributaries of the Amazon.
The Amazon River is the largest river in the world by volume, with a total river flow greater than the next top 10 largest rivers flowing into the ocean combined. Because of its vast dimensions, the Amazon is sometimes called the River Sea, or Rio Mar in Portuguese, and at no point is it crossed by bridges. Offshore of the mouth of the Amazon, potable water can be drawn from the ocean while still out of sight of the coastline.
And the salinity of the ocean is notably lower at 200 miles, 320 kilometers, out to sea. This area near the mouth of the Amazon is sometimes called the freshwater sea.
The Amazon drains an area of some 2,670,000 square miles, 6,915,000 square kilometers, or some 40% of South America. It gathers its waters from 5 degrees north to 20 degrees south latitude.
The average annual rainfall in the Amazon region is 79 inches or 2 meters, making it the wettest region in the world. Heavy rains drench much of the densely forested lowland region throughout the year, but especially from January to June.
The area covered by the waters of the Amazon and its tributaries more than triples over the course of a year in an average dry season. 42,000 square miles, 110,000 square kilometers, of land are water covered. while in the wet season the flooded area of the Amazon basin rises by a factor of 3 to 135,000 square miles, 350,000 square kilometers.
At its widest point, the Amazon River can be 7 miles, 11 kilometers, wide during the dry season. But during the rainy season, when the Amazon floods the surrounding plains, it can be up to 28 miles, 45 kilometers, wide.
To drain the vast mass of water, the Amazon has carved a deep bed in the plain through which it flows. In one area, near Equator, Brazil, the bed is more than 300 feet, 91 meters, below the average surface level of its water.
Because of its vastness, annual floods, and navigability, the Amazon is often called the Ocean River. The total number of its tributaries is as yet uncounted, but more than 200 on Brazil alone. 17 of the largest known tributaries are more than 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers in length.
The confluence of Rio Ucayali and Rio Marañón form Rio Amazonas, which changes its name to Solimões on the triple frontier between Peru, Colombia and Brazil, and later changes its name back to the Amazon only after it meets Rio Negro near Manaus. We will next have a short video clip on the mighty Amazon.
The rise of the Andes created whole new environments within the mountains, but it also had more far-reaching effects. This Great Barrier changed the climate of South America. It also redrew the map of the entire continent, radically altering the course of its major rivers. The Iguazu Falls are one of the wonders of the world. 4 times as wide as Niagara, they carry 60,000 tons of water a second. Part of Amazonia was once a huge swamp, connected to the Pacific and the Caribbean. The rise of the Andes broke those links, forcing the major rivers to flow east. One massive river now drains 40% of South America, the Amazon. This is the mightiest river on Earth. Running over 4,000 miles from the Andes to the ocean, it carries 1/5 of all the river water on the planet. 1,000 miles before it reaches the sea, its main channel is already 10 miles wide. Every year, the mighty Amazon bursts its banks, flooding an area of forest the size of England. At the height of the flood, the trees can stand in water 10 meters deep. The floodwaters bring with them the animals of the river, like Boto dolphins. Their origins are a mystery. Could they be a relic of Amazonia's ancient links with the oceans? These river dolphins are almost blind, no handicap in water that's often very muddy, because they navigate by echolocation. Unlike marine dolphins, they have a flexible neck, so by sweeping their head from side to side, they can scan their path ahead. Their sonar is so precise that they can weave their way through a maze of submerged branches in search of fish. Whisker-like bristles on their lips help them zero in on their target.
Pampas and Patagonia.
The Pampas is famed for its many cattle ranches.
This large plain in the southern part of the continent in central Argentina and Uruguay extends for almost 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers, and covers 294,000 square miles, 761,460 square kilometers. This shows the Pampas in Argentina and Uruguay.
Located between the Andes and the Atlantic Ocean, and about 1,000 miles in length, Patagonia stretches south from the Rio Negro River in southern Argentina to Tierra del Fuego and the Strait of Magellan. Patagonia is mostly rugged, barren land, famed for its beauty and striking scenery. It also extends on the other side of the Andes in Chile from the region just north of Puerto Montt south to Tierra del Fuego. Cultures of South America. Roman Catholicism is the dominant religion, over 80%, in Hispanic countries, and some 65% to 70% in Brazil. French Guiana also has a large number of Protestants. Guyana and Suriname are exceptions, with three major religions: Christianity in general, Hinduism, and Islam. In lowland South America as well as the Andes, animism and shamanism are common, as noted among the Urarina of the Peruvian Amazonia.
Portuguese and Spanish are the primary languages. Portuguese is spoken only in Brazil, but is, nonetheless, the majority language in South America, 51%.
This shows the languages spoken in the Americas.
This shows the languages spoken in Latin America.
The languages imposed by the process of European colonization of the Americas are mainly Indo-European. Portuguese and Spanish are the most spoken languages in South America, with around 192 million speakers each. Dutch is the official language of Suriname, and English is the official language of Guyana. Although there are at least 12 other languages spoken in the country, including Hindi, Arabic, and various indigenous languages, English is also spoken in the Falkland Islands. French is the official language of the French Overseas Department of French Guiana.
This shows the distribution of the Spanish-speaking population in South America.
The major languages in South America include Aymara in Bolivia and Peru, Quechua in Bolivia, Ecuador and Peru, Guarani in Paraguay, English in Guyana, Hindi in Guyana and Suriname, Dutch and Indonesian in Suriname.
The South American nations have a wide variety of music. Some of the most famous genres include samba from Brazil and cumbia from Colombia.
South American music forms the heart of South American culture and traditions. Music in South America originated in the Andes. The present picture of South American music is colored by the natives of South America, the Spanish and the Africans who came to South America as slaves.
Music in South America has also had the influence of Roman Catholicism.
In South America, music makes up the daily lives of the people. There is music for everything, such as agricultural labor, building houses, funerals, marketing cattle, sheep and goats, etc.
There are also many traditional dances and traditional dance songs in South America. The region in and around the Andes including the countries of Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile, have a diverse range of musical traditions.
The traditional music of the Andes is called huayno, which is popular for its use of pan flutes.
The lyrics are in Spanish and Quechua. The songs have various subjects like earth, seasons, harvest time, love, family, children, and stars.
The instruments used in South American music are panpipes, flutes, rattles, guitar, a native guitar charango, and the drum. The rhythms speak of the African influence on South American music.
Valses, or waltzes, though of European origin, have emerged uniquely in Peru. The famous salsa music is again a cultural characteristic of Peru. Other popular South American dances and songs include Carmen Miranda, the bossa nova, and the lambada.
The lambada is a dance from Para, Brazil. The dance became internationally popular in the 1980s, especially in Latin America and Caribbean countries. The lambada has adopted aspects of dances such as foro, salsa, merengue, machiche, and the carimbo.
The lambada is generally danced with arched legs, with the steps being from side to side, turning or even swaying, and in its original form neither front to back, with a pronounced movement of the hips. At the time when the dance became popular, short skirts for women were in fashion, and men wore long trousers. The dance has become associated with such clothing, especially for women wearing short skirts that swirl up when the woman spins around, typically revealing 90s style thong underwear.
We will next have a short video clip of Kaoma Lambada. We will next have a short video clip of Kaoma Lambada.
The bossa nova, or the new trend, is a style of Brazilian music. Bossa nova acquired a large following in the 1960s, initially consisting of young musicians and college students.
Since its birth, the bossa nova movement contributed its style and a number of songs to the standard jazz repertoire. We will next have a short video clip of Andy Williams and Antonio Carlos Jobim in the song Girl from Ipanema.
Tom has written so many beautiful songs, but I don't think any of them really has ever been requested more than the song that you did on your first appearance with us, The Girl from Ipanema. Great song. Let's do that. You do it.
Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. Ela, menina que vem e que passa, num doce balanço, caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado do sol de Ipanema, o seu balançado é mais que um poema, é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar.
Oh, but I watch her so sadly. How tell her I love her. Yes, I would give my heart gladly, but each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Don't let them tell love and love, little girl, don't pop me, talk and when she passes, I smile, but she doesn't see. Cause no, she doesn't see. Cause she just doesn't see.
Tango is the most famous dance and song of Argentina. Immigration of people from Europe along with the cultural amalgamation gave rise to the tango, incorporating a particular language, customs and usage and a certain philosophy. Tango is much more than just music.
We will next have a short video clip of Tango Passion.
Samba is a Brazilian dance and musical genre originating in Bahia. Its roots are in Brazil, especially in Rio de Janeiro in Africa, via the West African slave trade and African religious traditions. Samba is recognized around the world as a symbol of Brazil and the Brazilian Carnival.
Considered one of the most popular Brazilian cultural expressions, the samba has become an icon of Brazilian national identity.
The Bahian Samba de Roda dance circle, which became a UNESCO Heritage of Humanity in 2005, is the main route of the samba karaoke. This is the samba played and danced in Rio de Janeiro.
We will next have a short video clip of the samba.
Y ese amor llega así esta manera, no te
tiene la culpa. Caballo la manzana, porque me he estrellado, por eso no te estoy dando llorar. Llega así esta manera, no tiene la culpa. Armo de cumplimienta, armo de un espesado. Véndele, 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 véndele. Bambolea, bambolea, porque mi vida yo la prefiero vivir así. Bambolea, bambolea, porque mi vida yo la prefiero vivir así.
Because of South America's ethnic mix, South American cuisine takes on African, American Indian, and European influences. Bahia is especially well known for its West African-influenced cuisine. The Amazonia region of South America provides a plethora of fresh fish and tropical fruits. In Peru, the Inca Empire, Tahuantinsuyu and Incan cuisine contribute to the nation's overall cuisine. Potatoes are common, and also plants such as quinoa. The Pacific Ocean provides a large amount of seafood.
Many plains also are on this continent, which are rich for growing food in abundance in the Patagonian region south of Chile and Argentina. Many people produce lamb and venison.
King crab is typically caught at the southern end of the continent. Antarctic krill has just recently been discovered, and is now another food source.
Tuna and tropical fish are caught all around the continent. Easter Island is a notable area where these fish are found in abundance. Lobster is also caught in great quantities from Juan Fernandez.
In Brazil, the most traditional dish is the feijoada, a stew of beans with beef and pork.
Ethnic groups of South America include Albanoacapas and European descendants, especially from Spain, Incas, Latin peoples Mapuche, Mestizos, Ukiru, and Zaparas.
Dominant ethnic groups. Indigenous peoples make up the majority of the population in Bolivia and Peru, and a significant element in most of the former Spanish colonies. Exceptions to this include Argentina and Uruguay.
Mestizo is a term of Spanish origin, used to designate the peoples of mixed European and Amerindian racial strain, inhabiting the region spanning the Americas.
Mestizos officially make up the majority of the populations of Colombia, 58%, Ecuador, 65%, Paraguay, 95%, and Venezuela, 67%. Mestizos in other countries are Argentina, about 13%, Bolivia, 30%, Brazil, about 12%, Uruguay, 8%, and Peru, 37%. Africans first arrived with the Spanish and Portuguese in the 16th century. Most were brought as slaves to Brazil and the Caribbean. Brazil now has about 60 million black people. Venezuela also has a significant black population.
Mulatto is a term of Spanish origin describing Latin Americans of mixed African and white racial descent.
Zambo is a term of Spanish origin describing Latin Americans of mixed African and Amerindian racial descent. The feminine form is Zamba. What time is it in South America? Here are the time zones in the time in various places in terms of standard time, not daylight savings time.
Eastern Standard Time OEST is GMT-5. So when it's noon in London it's 7 a.m. in New York City. AST is Atlantic Standard Time. And is GMT-4. Oh, 1 who ahead of EST.
GMT-5 is the same as EST. And GMT-4 is the same as AST.
When it's 12 noon in New York. It is also 12 noon in Lima, Peru, where there is no DST.
In January, when it's 12 noon in London, it is 7 a.m. in Lima, Peru, no DST.
In January, when it is 12 noon in New York, it is 2 p.m. in all of Chile, Chile's summertime. OCLST.
In the winter, when it is 12 noon in London, it is 3 p.m. in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Rio has DST, which is GMT-2. In the winter, when it is 12 noon in New York, it is 10 a.m. in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
These are the South American time zones.
Recommended videos about South America.
Recommended video, South America Destination World.
Recommended video, Come Explore, South America.
Recommended video, Memorize South American countries and geography in under 5 minutes.
Recommended video, Americas, 1492 to 2015, every year.
Recommended video, South America Physical Feature Overview.
South America Table of Contents.
Thanks for watching. Please watch some more of my great videos.